Who is Cardinal Peter Turkson, and why has his name reverberated through the Catholic Church?
He's really the Holy Father's right-hand man when it comes to any of the social issues.
Twice a contender for the papacy, he came tantalizingly close to becoming the first black pope.
I wonder if you think you'll see a black pope in your lifetime.
I've been asked this question several times before, and my answer has always been, why not?
Only to see the moment pass him by. But his story didn't end there. With his bold vision for justice, unwavering faith, and the subtle backing of Pope Francis himself, Turkson's path to the throne of St. Peter may be closer than ever. Join us as we explore why Cardinal Peter Turkson could become the first black pope. The early life and priesthood of Cardinal Peter Turkson. Before we even answer why Cardinal Peter Turkson will be the first black pope ever, we have to get acquainted with his life from the very beginning. To truly understand what makes him stand out, you have to delve into the story of his roots, his journey through the priesthood, and the values that shaped him into the remarkable leader he is today. Peter Kodwo Apia Turkson was born on October 11, 1948 in Wassa-Nsugbe, a modest mining town nestled in the western region of Ghana. Growing up in a household with 9 siblings, Peter's life was anything but privileged. His father, a carpenter, and his mother, a Methodist who sold vegetables in the local market, worked tirelessly to provide for their large family. It's said that young Peter's upbringing was enriched by a diverse spiritual atmosphere, with influences ranging from his Methodist mother to a paternal uncle who was Muslim, and a firm grounding in his father's Catholic faith. From an early age, Peter showed an insatiable curiosity and a natural inclination toward education and spirituality. He began his academic and spiritual journey at St. Teresa's Minor Seminary in Amasano, followed by St. Peter's Regional Seminary in Padu. A young Peter soon realized his calling and made his way to St. Anthony-on-Hudson Seminary in New York, where he pursued his theological studies. Here, he earned not just one, but 2 master's degrees, one in theology and another in divinity. It was a pivotal period in his life, marked by intense study, reflection, and a summer course at Albany University, which broadened his perspective. On July 20, 1975, a moment of profound significance arrived when Archbishop John Amissa ordained him as a priest. This milestone wasn't just the beginning of his official priesthood, but the dawn of a journey filled with purpose, service, and a commitment to his faith. Peter Turkson's career in the church didn't stop at ordination. He quickly transitioned into academia, teaching at the Minor Seminary at St. Teresa's, where he began to mentor and inspire future priests. His passion for learning took him to Rome's prestigious Pontifical Biblical Institute, where he earned a licentiate in sacred scripture. After his return to Ghana, he stepped into leadership roles, becoming vice rector at St. Peter's Seminary. During this time, he also served the community by taking on pastoral duties in a nearby parish, balancing scholarly pursuits with hands-on ministry. By 1987, Peter was back in Rome for doctoral studies in sacred scripture. Although his academic ambitions were cut short when he was appointed Archbishop of Cape Coast in 1992, this shift marked the beginning of a transformative chapter in his life. On October 6, 1992, Peter Turkson was appointed Archbishop of Cape Coast by Pope John Paul II. This appointment was a testament to his dedication and an acknowledgement of the unique blend of intellect, humility, and charisma that defined him. On March 27, 1993, he was consecrated by Archbishop Dominic Kodwo Ando, solidifying his position as a key leader in the Ghanaian Church. As Archbishop, Peter's influence extended beyond his diocese. From 1997 to 2005, he served as president of the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference, tackling pressing issues like education, social justice, and interfaith dialogue. In 2003, he became chancellor of the Catholic University College of Ghana, further cementing his role as a champion of education. Pope John Paul II elevated Peter to the rank of cardinal in 2003, making him the first Ghanaian cardinal. But this is not the end. Stay tuned, as Ghana will continue to shine on the global stage and make its people proud in more remarkable ways in the future. A journey through the Roman Curia, When Cardinal Peter Turkson was appointed president of the Pontifical Council for Justice and Peace in October 2009, it wasn't just another Vatican job. It was a calling that placed him at the intersection of faith and global issues. Pope Benedict's decision to bring him into this role wasn't accidental. Peter's reputation as a man deeply rooted in justice and compassion made him a natural fit for addressing the Church's social teachings on human rights, economic fairness, and peace. But this wasn't Peter's only hat. Over the years, he became a member of several influential Vatican bodies, including the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith, the Congregation for Catholic Education, and the Pontifical Council for Promoting Christian Unity. From these vantage points, Peter was a force for innovation. In one of his more memorable moves, Peter made headlines in 2011 when he called for a global public authority and a central world bank. Bold, right? The proposal wasn't about bureaucracy for bureaucracy's sake. It was about ensuring financial systems served humanity instead of exploiting it. Peter condemned the idolatry of the market and collective greed, reminding everyone that economics isn't just numbers, it's about ethics, solidarity, and human dignity. And while his ideas weren't universally applauded, they sparked essential conversations about reforming the global economy. Peter's talents weren't confined to policy papers and Vatican halls. In 2011, during the civil conflict in Ivory Coast, Pope Benedict XVI sent him as a mediator to find a peaceful resolution. The situation was tense, with atrocities committed on both sides. Yet, Peter's mission highlighted his diplomatic skills and his ability to approach even the most volatile situations with humility and hope. Again, in 2016, Pope Francis called on Peter for another critical mission, this time to South Sudan. As the Pope's special envoy, Peter traveled to Juba with a simple yet profound goal: peace. Carrying letters from Francis to both President Salva Kiir and Vice President Riek Machar, historic enemies from rival ethnic groups, Peter worked to foster dialogue and trust. It wasn't easy, but his presence was a reminder of the Church's commitment to peace in the face of violence. By 2016, Pope Francis recognized the need to streamline and modernize the Vatican's approach to social issues. Enter the Dicastery for Promoting Integral Human Development, with Cardinal Peter at the helm as its first prefect. The Dicastery was a bold experiment, combining several Vatican offices to tackle issues like migration, human rights, and environmental protection under one umbrella. Peter's leadership brought focus and energy to the initiative, which aligned perfectly with Pope Francis's vision in Laudato Si for a church deeply engaged with the world's challenges. Peter's tenure wasn't without its challenges. Overseeing such a wide-ranging office meant dealing with conflicts, criticism, and an ever-growing workload. Yet through it all, Peter's steady hand and ability to listen set him apart. When his 5-year term ended in December 2021, Pope Francis appointed Cardinal Michael Czerny as his temporary successor, but Peter's contributions left an enduring legacy. Twice a papal contender. If you think Peter's career is impressive so far, wait until you hear this. He's been a serious contender for the papacy not once, but twice. In 2005, when Pope John Paul II passed away, Peter was among the cardinal electors in the conclave that ultimately chose Pope Benedict XVI. While he wasn't a frontrunner then, his presence signaled the growing recognition of Africa's importance in the global church. By 2013, when Pope Benedict XVI resigned, and Peter's name started circulating again, but this time more seriously. His progressive vision, global outlook, and deep connection to the Church's teachings made him a compelling candidate. Though the conclave ultimately elected Pope Francis, Peter's inclusion in the Papabile, those considered strong candidates for the papacy, was no small feat. It was a clear acknowledgement of his growing influence and the possibility of a non-European pope. Why Cardinal Turkson came so close to becoming pope in 2013? You must be wondering now, how did Cardinal Peter Turkson, a soft-spoken yet charismatic leader from Ghana, end up as one of the most talked-about candidates for the papacy in 2013? It's no small feat to be mentioned in the same breath as the papal crown, and Peter's name didn't appear on that list by chance. His rise to prominence within the Church was fueled by a unique combination of qualifications, charisma, and a deeply rooted connection to the contemporary issues facing the global Catholic community. But why didn't he make it all the way? And does that mean the door is closed for him? Let's unpack this intriguing chapter of his story. Peter's candidacy during the 2013 conclave wasn't a fluke. It was the culmination of decades of dedicated service, intellectual rigor, and his ability to connect with people across cultures. First and foremost, his education and spiritual foundation gave him an edge. With degrees in theology and sacred scripture from some of the most prestigious Catholic institutions, including the Pontifical Biblical Commission in Rome, Peter was regarded as one of the intellectual heavyweights of the Church. Yet he wasn't just an academic locked in a library. He had years of pastoral experience under his belt. As the Archbishop of Cape Coast, he was someone deeply attuned to the needs of his people. When Pope Benedict XVI appointed him president of the Pontifical Council for Justice and Peace in 2009, Peter's profile skyrocketed. He became the Vatican's voice on critical global issues like economic ethics, social justice, and environmental protection. He spoke with authority on subjects many found uncomfortable, like the greed-fueling global inequality, or the urgent need for solidarity between rich and poor nations. His moral clarity and ability to frame these discussions within the teachings of the Church made him not just respected, but admired. Then there was his charisma. Peter speaks an impressive array of languages: English, French, Italian, Fante, Hebrew, German, Latin, and even some Greek. It's no exaggeration to say he could talk to nearly anyone, anywhere, in their own tongue. Combine that with his warm personality and natural ability to command attention, and you had a figure who could inspire hope and bring people together. His African heritage also made him a symbolic figure, representing a continent where Catholicism is thriving and growing faster than anywhere else in the world. But despite all this, Peter wasn't elected pope in 2013. Why not? The answer lies in the complex and often enigmatic dynamics of a papal conclave. For one, the Church at the time was at a crossroads, grappling with scandals and a growing perception of being out of touch with the modern world. Many cardinals felt the need for a transformative figure, someone who could rebuild trust and refocus the Church's priorities. Enter Jorge Mario Bergoglio, later Pope Francis, a humble reformer from Argentina who embodied a return to simplicity and a focus on the marginalized. Bergoglio's Latin American roots also resonated with a global church where Latin America has the largest Catholic population. Peter, though admired, may not have garnered enough support within the College of Cardinals. Papal elections often involve intricate networks of alliances and compromises, and Peter's lack of strong political backing likely worked against him. Additionally, some cardinals might have hesitated to break with tradition by electing the first African pope, despite the Church's growing universality. While many saw Peter's African origins as a strength, others might have viewed it as a bold leap they weren't ready to make yet. So, does this mean Peter's chance to don the white cassock is gone? Not at all. On the contrary, this will give him an advantage for a new opportunity, which we will discuss soon. A new chapter for Cardinal Turkson. Fast forward to 2022, and Cardinal Peter Turkson is once again at the center of Vatican intrigue. Pope Francis made headlines by appointing him as the new Chancellor of the Pontifical Academy of Sciences and the Pontifical Academy of Social Sciences. This wasn't just another routine reshuffling of Vatican responsibilities. It was a move that left many observers speculating. Is Pope Francis subtly endorsing Peter as a future pope? As we already mentioned, Cardinal Turkson, a towering figure in the Catholic Church, has always been admired for his intellect, diplomacy, and unwavering commitment to the Church's mission in a complex world. His new role as Chancellor is no small honor. It places him at the helm of two prestigious institutions that aim to bridge faith and reason, providing the Church with scientific and social insights to navigate the challenges of modernity. But let's rewind a bit. Peter's previous position as prefect of the Dicastery for Promoting Integral Human Development ended in December 2021. His tenure was marked by significant contributions, but also some turbulence, including a Vatican-ordered inspection of the Dicastery. The inspection, led by Cardinal Blas Kupik, prompted personnel changes and eventually Peter's resignation. When he stepped down, the Vatican faced a glaring reality. For the first time since 1977, there were no African leaders among the heads of its dicasteries.